let me make one thing perfectly clear here. I want Kevin Savo to succeed in this. However, I feel as if this game is going to need to address things that I really do feel as if needs to be addressed on who's the main villain of this game. And like I said, I really want him to do very well. I hope that he's gonna. I hope for the best for this story, for this plot, and how Sony or how the fans are gonna react to this. And if so far it seems like it's following the style very well, getting some interesting Cowboy Bebop / Lupin the Third vibes. I just feel as if with some of the major plot points he's going, especially that one certain plot point, I feel like there has to be something addressed about where the lines and the loopholes and how everything's connected to the dots with this certain plot point that he is setting up in this story. When watching the trailer of Sly 4, Deceit of Thieves, I've got to wonder to myself, if McSweeney is going to be the main antagonist of this game, where are they going with this direction? Like, we've already been through the other previous Gen Cooper clan member, Dr. M, being the villain. Now we got to do the other one. Like, what's going to happen to this villain at the end? Like, I just don't see this ending the same way with Dr. M, because that would just be too much of a repeat, or, in my opinion, maybe formulaic in a way, because it's just going to be like the same thing again. And I just wonder what kind of effect will this villain have in Sly 4 that Dr. M wouldn't have. Like, what will he do that will really affect Sly in a bad way, but for him to grow and learn from? And I've been thinking about this, and I can only think of one really important key scenario, and it's what Sly will think of his past, of his family past, his family history, of him having second thoughts on it. Because why in the world would Sly's father, Connor Cooper, if Connor Cooper knew about this, and also, okay, hold on. If you were Sly Cooper and you thought your dad was, well, a decent man or a good man that really loved and cared for you, and you were really sad over his death, and you really have some sense of honor for your family history, or you really like your history, or you support it, I've got to ask, if you were Sly Cooper, what would you think of him if you found out that two of the guys he was working with were bad? With Dr. M, if I was Sly, I would be thinking, well, I guess there's always a chance that there could be one bad seed of the bunch of a trio. Like, there's always a butt in the crowd. Or there's always a jerk in the crowd. Like a really mean butthole. However, with all that being said, if the other one is bad, then why didn't Connor Cooper foresee this or see this? Like, this is way too big of a mistake to make. With one, I guess I could understand this, but with the rest of the team being bad, were they good to begin with, or just somewhat neutral to begin with when teaming up with him? Because if Connor Cooper was a good guy, then he'd be an idiot for teaming up with two guys like that. And I mean, he might have been just like them, or been more of an anti-hero, possibly an anti-villain, or at worst he was a villain. It may still been a villain throughout his entire life, possibly, but only cared for his son. That could be a possibility, because we don't really know much detail about Sly's father and who he is exactly. There's a lot of mystery surrounding him. We don't even see his face, except he has involvement with the Cooper clan, and he seemed to have followed it well. But what if he's not who many of us seem to have thought who he was? What if Dr. M wasn't far off from what he said about him in Sly 3? Because if this is the case, if Connor Cooper was teaming up with these guys, and he knew it, he knew what they were, how long was he teaming up with them? And if he teamed up with them for a long time and knew who they were, then did he really hold any of the morals of what the previous Coopers have held? If I were Sly Cooper, I'd be questioning my family members, because there's no such thing as a perfect family. And a lot of families that I know in my life have made some bad decisions. And I'm pretty sure no one can deny that a lot of families in their lives have made bad decisions. So this just makes me wonder if Act 2 or Act 3 of Deceit of Thieves is going to play out with Sly wondering if being a criminal's the right thing to be, because Sly's father may have become corrupt. If he knew who Dr. M and McSweeney were like, why would he join them? Why would he be affiliated with them? And if he was affiliated with them for quite some time, like at least on the time or comparable to the time Sly is affiliated with Bentley Murray, then we've got to question who his father was like. And I think that's where the nail in the coffin for Sly's growth is going to be, is questioning himself following his inheritance, or questioning if living the thief life is really a good life at all. Like, how far can this go? Because the reason why I think people are having trouble with McSweeney being the villain, it's not directly because of McSweeney. It's really because of Sly's father. Because why would he be doing this if he knew? And how did he not know for so long? I mean, I get the saying of when all bad is around you, you don't notice it for a long time, or may never notice it. But surely he must have seen some type of example of them going too far, which is why Dr. M is no longer affiliated with them. And maybe McSweeney as well. So you gotta wonder, was Connor Cooper really who some of us thought he was? Because there's really not much to think of him, because we don't know much about him. He's more mysterious than clockwork, at least on my opinion. So yeah, I think the reason why people are not fond of this idea, or really like not sure about McSweeney being the villain, it's really because of Sly's father thinking that it may have been some kind of good idea to team up with two guys who became the antagonists of the third and fourth installment of the series. That's all I have to say about this. Please give your thoughts in a comment or like, and if you want to make a video response, I don't mind. This is Zeph Bro here, Al the Cat Rat, saying goodbye.